Hello, welcome to the Kagy Boulevard Open House presentation. My name is Nick Ross. I serve as the Transportation and Engineering Director for the City of Bozeman. I'm here today speaking on behalf of the Montana Department of Transportation and our design team led by Sanderson Stewart. The purpose of the Kagy Boulevard project is first and foremost to address all existing deficiencies found along the corridor. In addition, we're here to plan safe and efficient transportation along a 20-year horizon into the future. We come back to the public now to present a revision to our traffic study and to seek guidance in setting the final scope for design heading into the summer. The limits of our Kagy Boulevard reconstruction project extend from South 19th Avenue to the west, all the way to Willson Avenue to the east, along a length of about 1.1 miles. The project includes traffic signal modifications at the existing intersection with 19th, roadway reconstruction to address deficiencies between 19th and 11th, a proposed roundabout at South 11th and South 7th, and then roadway reconstruction from those intersections all the way to Willson. We also anticipate traffic signal revisions and improvements at Willson as well. The Kagy reconstruction project began in 2015 to address the project that had been identified in the City of Bozeman's Transportation Master Plan, and in response to concerns we heard from the community about growth pressures that people were experiencing along the corridor. The project went through significant public involvement in spring of 2016, but was unfortunately eventually tabled due to lack of funding. The project was then revived again in 2022 through our effort to reevaluate traffic projections and make sure we were recommending the most appropriate solutions for the corridor. We're here now to set final design of the scope of work that will then pass off to our design consultant, the Sanderson Stewart team, for preliminary design in 2023 and 2024, final design in 2025 through 2027, and construction beginning in 2027. Funding for our Kagy Boulevard reconstruction currently exists from two primary sources. The Surface Transportation Program is contributing roughly $18 million to the project. This funding may only be used on urban highway routes throughout the city and cannot be reallocated to other needs. In addition, Bozeman will be contributing street impact fees to the total of $6.5 million. This funding must be used on only capacity expanding projects and also cannot be reallocated across the city. Current cost estimates do project a significant shortfall in funding. To address that, we are seeking significant discretionary grants through the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and in addition, may need to reduce the scope of the project in order to make it fiscally constrained. We'll now discuss future traffic volumes and projected impacts. I've turned my camera off so you're better able to see the charts on the screen. Our Kagy revisited traffic effort, first and foremost, was intended to ensure that we are not over-projecting future demand on the corridor. We have assumed only the known housing developments within the south part of the city and the trips that they will contribute to the Kagy Boulevard corridor. In addition, we have assumed significant additional bicycle and pedestrian demand will occur along the corridor in order to ensure that multimodal context will address all modes. Starting at South 19th, we project roughly 22,000 vehicles per day. We use the Kagy Boulevard corridor in the future. That escalates up to about 25,000 vehicles between 11th and 7th, and then dropping back down to approximately 22,000 vehicles as the corridor approaches South Willson. In addition, we are ensuring that we are projecting traffic accurately as we can along Stuckey, Arnold, and Graff Streets, which are our only parallel routes to Kagy Boulevard in the south part of town. Sanderson Stewart, our design consultant, has run preliminary traffic modeling for each intersection along the corridor. Those modeling results are shown in the graphs to the right. Two scenarios were modeled by Sanderson Stewart, a single lane scenario and a multi-lane scenario. The results of that scenario show significant differences in projected delay depending on which option is chosen. The single lane scenario at the intersection of 11th in particular projects to increase delay to the average user by more than a minute in each both morning and afternoon rush hour. Additionally, significant delay would be expected to be experienced at the intersection of Willson as well. We will now seek your input on your preferred congestion mitigation preferences. You can provide your input in our online survey found at mdt.mt.gov. Our question for you is, what is your preferred amount of travel delay in the future Kagy corridor? If one accepts significant traffic congestion, then a single lane alignment may be most appropriate. If one chooses to accept a reasonable amount of traffic congestion, multi-lane alignment may be most appropriate. And if one wanted to prioritize reducing traffic congestion at all costs, modeling shows that we would be required to build a 6-lane corridor, if not larger. We'll now present two options for typical sections within the corridor. A single lane option, shown on the screen now, would exist as 1 lane in each direction with a raised median, boulevards including street trees and landscaping, full-scale lighting, as well as wide shared use paths in each direction to serve bicycles and pedestrians. This corridor would roughly fit within the existing right-of-way we have along Kagy Boulevard. The multi-lane typical section for the future Kagy Boulevard consists of the same features as the single lane section, with 1 additional travel lane in each direction. Once again, planted median, along with boulevards, landscaping, street trees, lighting, and shared use paths in each direction would be provided in the multi-lane alignment. The project has chosen to implement roundabout intersection control at both South 11th and South 7th Avenues. This slide demonstrates conceptual design of both a single lane roundabout and a multi-lane roundabout at each location. One can see the impacts to surrounding land use, as well as how the project fits within the current land use on these slides. Planned pedestrian and bicycle accommodations along the corridor first and foremost include wide shared use paths in each direction. This is the type of facility we hear from our public as the most comfortable and safest for all ages and abilities operations. In addition, the project has planned the potential inclusion of 2 grade separated structures. These pedestrian tunnels would occur on the east side of the South 11th intersection and the west side of the South 7th intersection in order to reduce conflicts between traffics, bicycles, and pedestrians traveling north and south along those corridors. That now brings us to our second engagement question. You can once again fill out the survey at mdt.mt.gov. In order to help the project team define the final scope, we're seeking your priority preferences for design. If costs of the project were to exceed available funding, please rank the following items in order of your greatest to least importance. Those options would be additional capacity along the corridor to increase from a single lane to a multi-lane alignment, the inclusion of pedestrian underpasses to reduce pedestrian and traffic conflicts, project limits from the full length down to something shorter to 7th or 11th, and the inclusion of shared use paths to accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians. This now concludes the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for watching.